Before starting with the match preview for Wolves on Saturday night, let's just start with another incredible Steve Bruce interview. Every Friday, it's got to the point where if you don't laugh, you cry, so we look forward to hearing what Bruce has got to say. Today, he's compared the current relegation battle to daffodils. Yep, daffodils. So, if it wasn't digs about our comments on the mighty Rafa, if it wasn't calling our criticisms of the team after the Brentford result mass hysteria, he's now started to get a bit philosophical in his old age, I think, and he's comparing it to daffodils. Now, with this, I took it upon myself to check whether this is the first time Steve Bruce has used this kind of analogy for the relegation battle, because let's face it, we know good old Stevie's been in quite a few. And what I found was that the daffodils comparison is something he's used at many clubs. 2017 at Hull, he compared the rat race to get promoted when they were a little bit higher in the division in the Championship as like being like daffodils. 2018, when he was at Aston Villa, he compared the situation that his team were in as being like daffodils. So yes, again, we find Steve Bruce, the dinosaur that he is, using examples and comparisons and analogies that not only fry our brains as fans and fry the pundits' brains, but they're just things he said before. Steve, if you ever watch these videos, let me just clarify, there's nothing about this situation like daffodils. It's more like dying roots and dying weeds in my backyard. But, moving on. Match preview, we've got Wolves tomorrow night, Saturday night under the lights in St James's Park. Not an easy game. I think looking at the fixtures that the other teams around us have, we have got a decent run-in coming up. If any game's a decent game at the moment for us, because you just never know what you're going to get with Newcastle. Wolves isn't going to be easy. I think it is the kind of game that we could get something from. I think we've surprised ourselves sometimes when we've come up, not against the big teams, but the middle ground teams, and I think it's fair to class Wolves in that. They aren't having a great season this season, but I think a lot of teams struggled with the pandemic, not spending as much money during the transfer windows, and I think Wolves is a team that's probably falls into that category. They had a great season last year, but very much still a dangerous side. Do I expect us to get something? I'm at the point now when I can honestly answer that by saying I do not know. I think a lot of us don't know what Newcastle team's going to show up, whether it's going to be the one that showed up against Chelsea, flat as a fart, sitting back behind the ball, terrible, whether it's going to be the first half that we saw at Man United on Sunday, press, really take the game by the balls and by the scruff of the neck. We just don't know what Newcastle's going to show up, and I'm very much in that boat. It's either going to ruin me Saturday night and force me to drink 6 more beers than what I maybe planned on having, or it's going to go the other way and I'm going to be a little bit surprised by the performance and I'll be drinking 3 or 4 more beers, but of the celebration type. So who knows what we're going to get. Team news. I think Bruce confirmed on Friday morning that not too much to report really. Fernandez is edging back, but he doesn't think that he's maybe going to make whether he's fit enough to start the game. I think for me, Fernandez, the second he is fit. And to be totally honest, the way we've been defending more recently, I think if Fernandez is 75% fit, get him in. I think I touched on it in one of my previous match previews, talking about Fernandez's fitness. If he is 85% fit, 65, whatever he may be, put him back in the side, because he's one of our most solid, reliable players. So sounds more positive on that front. Joe Linton, obviously he got a knock against Man United. I think Bruce has said that he's okay. It's not too much of a worry, because as Newcastle fans, we were all really worried about Joe Linton. We were seriously worried about Big Joey. He looked a little bit better on that right-hand side on Sunday, but what position does he play? I had someone comment on our page on Facebook today saying that he should maybe play centre-back with his height. Maybe he's better utilised there. I'm past the point of knowing where we should play him. So looks like Big Joey's going to be in the team. Every Newcastle fan will be relieved to hear that. I think that's pretty much all the news. He did touch on Callum Wilson, 4 to 6 weeks. if we can just get that down to 2 or 3 weeks, Callum, if you're watching this, Callum's physio, if you're watching this, that would be fantastic. Callum Wilson and his return from injury, I believe, is going to be the key in this relegation battle. I honestly believe he's that important for us. You only need to look at how many goals he's scored, so the faster he gets back on the field, the better. That's pretty much it in terms of team news. I think from watching the game on Sunday, what I would do against Wolves. Does Gale play? There was a lot of comments about whether he should have started the game on Sunday against Man United. They aren't the paciest at centre-back. I personally believe he should have. Would I start him against Wolves? Yeah, I think I probably would give Gale a go. He knows where the goal is. Andy Carroll looked okay when he came in against Arsenal in the FA Cup. Didn't look so good in the other games that he played around that period. Joe Linton's not a striker. And that's pretty much all of our options sort of expired. So Gale for me would be the obvious choice. Knows where the goal is, bit of pace, always on the defender's shoulder. Stick him in. Apart from that, I think from the Man United game, I wouldn't change too much. Obviously, Wolves' main threat is going to be on the wings. We all know about Traore, covered up in his baby oil. He's one of their biggest threats if he does start the game. I know sometimes he's been used as a substitute. Him and Neto, pace to burn, crosses, left, right and centre. Do I worry about Jamal Lewis coming up against Traore and Kraft potentially coming up against Neto on the other side? Of course I do. I think we all do. And that's going to be a big player in this game, whether we keep them quiet. Obviously, Jamal Lewis, I don't envy him going up against Traore. I don't envy any defender in the league going up against Traore. He's a nightmare. There's no one faster. There's no one fast enough to catch him. It's all about containing him. Let's get Almiron on that left-hand side, because I think Almiron's work rate against Traore, I think a couple of seasons ago he made like a slide tackle chasing him back that went viral across social media. More of that. Let's get Miggy on that left-hand side, stick Maximin on the right-hand side and try and shut up shop against Traore as best as possible. Goalkeeper, the Telegraph, I think the Express is reporting that Dubravka is going to come back. Steve Bruce was very, very cryptic this week about whether Darlow or Dubravka would play. He said he's got his decisions to make. Everyone's doing really well and fighting for that place. For me, I think if Bruce was going to keep Darlow in, he would have said it in the press conference, and I think there's got to be some truth to Dubravka coming in. Fingers crossed, because I think he should be back in now. Your best players need to play, and Dubravka's always been our number one. Darlow, you've done a fantastic job, but it's time to move over. Bit more of a voice in Dubravka. I think he's a bit more reassured in himself and talking to his back four, which is what we're going to need against a team like Wolves. I think apart from that, I would keep the team the same. Maximin, brilliant finish on Sunday, but didn't really see enough of him. Didn't get him involved enough, so that needs to happen a little bit more. I think Almiron stole the show a little bit in the first half in terms of the good spells that we had in that game. Do I fancy us to get anything tomorrow? I think my match prediction... Oh, God. This is the optimist in me again. It must be because it's Friday night and I'm in a good mood. I am going to go for a 2-1 Newcastle win. Very, very close game, but I'm going to pray that Maximin's on it. I think if Maximin is on it, we're always going to create chances. Callum Wilson being out of the team scares me, because when we create those chances, who's going to take them? But I'll go for a win. I might be eating me words on the match review, but that's my predictions. Fixtures aren't looking too bad compared to the teams around us. I know West Brom next week for us is a win. It is a really, really must-win game. So worst case scenario, if we don't get anything from Wolves on Saturday night, we do have winnable fixtures coming up. The key for us now, as much as it kills us Newcastle fans to think it and say it, is survival. We just need to stay in this division. If we are ever going to get rid of Mike Ashley out of this football club, if we are ever going to get rid of Bruce and his daffodils out of this football club, we need to stay up. Starting on Saturday, 3 more points close to that magic 38-40 point mark. We do have winnable fixtures coming up, but you're only as good as your last game, and the next game's always the most important. God, I'm using all the football cliches tonight. So Wolves is a massive game, and I hope the lads approach it in the right way. I want to see more of what we did against Man United in the first half for as long as possible. I want to see us get on the ball, be just as effective off the ball as when we are in possession, and I think that's the crucial thing. Let's start the game against Wolves on Saturday like we want to win the game and really set a precedence for the rest of the 90 minutes. If we can do that, kind of put the shits up Wolves a little bit, get at them, it's a winnable match, let's be totally honest. Yes, they've got Traore. Yes, they've got Neves in midfield. Yes, they've got Neto on the left-hand side, but these matches are winnable. This is a Wolves team without Jimenez. Jimenez is a pain in every team's arse he plays against. So let's really get at them and see where we are on Saturday night. If you've liked this video, please like it and subscribe to Black and White Banter. I'm now on Instagram and Facebook, so follow us on there. The content's coming thick and fast. And if you want to leave your predictions for the game and your thoughts on the game against Wolves on Saturday, or even on Steve Bruce's Daffodils comment, please just drop something in the comments below, and I'll catch up with you for the match review.